Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Matt Hayes' Tottenham Blog and to one of our first breaking news streams, our first breaking news stream of the summer transfer window. And on the evening that Tottenham have confirmed their qualification for next season's UEFA Champions League, Alistair Gold has given us the line that we have all been waiting for. The line that Spurs are set to back the Godfather, set to fully back Antonio Conte this summer transfer window. I've had my flag wrapped around me on the Cheese Room podcast for the last hour. And I just came off the stream to this fantastic news from Alistair Gold, which we're going to go through. We're going to look back on what was an incredible day for Spurs. We're going to dissect it all, and we're going to look ahead to what is set to be, given today's result, given what's happened in the last couple of weeks, what is set to be an absolutely huge transfer window for Tottenham Hotspur. Before we do dive into that, 50 of you already watching. Shells, Dub Nation, Mason, Michael, welcome to the stream. Danny says the Godfather got Champions League. Yes, he did. If you are new to the channel, please do make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and press that notification bell so you get notified whenever we upload or go live. Jack, I got this flag at the Leicester game when I was there from a lovely stall on the high road. One of my proudest purchases. I'm not going to lie. People flying into the stream already. I have the date wrong in the top corner, so let's quickly update that. But Alistair Gold, as I said, has given us the line that we have all been waiting for. And I'll bring it to you right now. Alistair Gold has said, putting up a piece on a big day for Antonio Conte and Tottenham Hotspur. I understand the club are set to back him fully in the transfer market this summer and let him lead the way. Direct quote there from Alistair Gold. Excuse me, and we're going to run through that piece. A lovely picture of Conte talking to the Spurs team in the dressing room after that qualification today. And one of my favourite things about what happened today, I've seen Son and Kulusevski say it. I've heard that Larissa and Romero have said similar things, saying that we can do better next season. It can get better for Spurs. And if that is going to happen, that man, Antonio Conte, is a huge part of that. Daniel Levy knows that. And as we're about to read, he's set to fully back him. So Alistair Gold has said Tottenham are planning to back Antonio Conte fully in the transfer market this summer to ensure the Italians' ambitions can be achieved at the club. And that's the word that we need, the word that we've been waiting for. Because Antonio Conte himself today refused to fully commit his future to Spurs, which I'm absolutely fine with. But for the whole way through, he's been saying the club needs to match his ambition. The players, the chairman, everybody needs to match his ambition. And Spurs know that. They know what this man can do, what he has done already, and they're set to do that. Alistair Gold goes on to say the Italian has surpassed expectations in his first 7 months at Spurs, taking them to a 4th place finish and back into the Champions League. Conte has impressed the Tottenham hierarchy with the way he has knitted the club back together from the fragmented, demoralised outfit left in the wake of the brief Nuno Espirito Santo era. Wolf Mahler with the super chat. Wolf, absolutely incredible to see you. Thank you so much for that. Since big up, Matt. Dream finish for us all. Looking forward to seeing the Champions League content coming on your channel. Well, I'm very much looking forward to putting that Champions League content together as well. It's been way too long. But thank you for the super chat and thank you for the support. And a few bits there to dive into from that paragraph in particular from Alistair Gold. It was 202 days ago. 202 days ago, Tottenham sacked Nuno Espirito Santo. We were languishing in 9th in the Premier League. We were so far adrift. We weren't even dreaming of a top 4 finish. As Antonio Conte said himself this week, the idea of fighting for top 4, and in that first meeting with Daniel Levy, if he had said the goal is top 4, Conte would have laughed at him. And we all would have laughed at him. We saw the interview with Conte back in the early days where he said, I think it was there's a 1% chance of Tottenham qualifying for the Champions League, and we did it. We got into that 1% chance, and we have done it. Yes, with the help of some failings from Arsenal. Wolf becoming a channel member as well. Thank you so much for that. Really do appreciate the support. Darkson G says, how does it feel for Son to get the golden boot while getting Champions League? Also Liverpool getting second. Also Kulu and Ben was a huge factor for our top 4 finish. Look, Son getting the golden boot. I'll be honest, I celebrated that first goal. I celebrated that second goal. I was a bit calm about the third goal because we got it, but those 2 goals from Son I celebrated more than any of the other. To see him holding that golden boot, look, a bit of a sour note that Mohamed Salah managed to get what turned out to be a pointless goal at the end of that game for Liverpool. So it is shared, but it is a golden boot for Son. Absolutely incredible to see. And Kulusevski and Ben Davies, 2 of 11 or more than 11 fantastic players in that game today. But Darkson G, thank you very much for that super chat. As I was saying, Conte saying the 1% chance of getting into the Champions League, and we managed to do that. And Gold there says he's impressed the Tottenham hierarchy with the way he has knitted the club back together from the fragmented, demoralised outfit that was left when Nuno Espirito Santo left that football club. And as I was on the Cheese Room podcast there just before the stream, I was talking about how he has managed to bring that dressing room back together. He's managed to make players who we were calling to be sold, calling to be released back in October. He's managed to make them important players in this team. Ben Davies, as you mentioned there, Darkson G, absolutely incredible. incredible the last 4 or 5 6 months. Davinson Sanchez, yes, hasn't been an important part of this Conte team, but Romero got injured before that game. I apologize. I did the GTV. I apologize. Um, so I've lost my train of thought there now. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, Davinson Sanchez. So kind of pushed out to the wayside in this Antonio Conte team, and he's managed to come in with Romero injured for the last 3 games, and we haven't conceded a single goal. And Davinson Sanchez has been a very important part of that. He was an important part of how we progressed the ball on the pitch against Arsenal, which has never, ever, ever been said about Davinson Sanchez before. And it's all because of Conte. The more impressive thing than that is how he's brought together this fan base and the atmosphere in that game against Arsenal, the atmosphere against Burnley, and the atmosphere. I'll be honest that I didn't get to hear today because I was watching that game, the Liverpool game, with my dad, and apparently the Liverpool game was more important, but also it wasn't an English stream that I was watching, so I didn't have the volume on to fully hear that atmosphere, but I've heard it was absolutely incredible. And as fragmented and as demoralised as that team was when Conte came in, the fan base was exactly the same. And Conte has changed that and deserves every penny that he's going to get in the transfer window this summer. And it's so important that Tottenham know that and are able to commit to that, and it looks as though they will do. Alistair Gold continues, an emotional rollercoaster of a manager. Conte has poured himself into the job at Spurs and has brought smiles back to those in the corridors of Hotspur Way. The 52-year-old with his coaching staff has transformed the fitness and mentality of a Tottenham squad that was bottom of most of the statistical charts and has made them one of the hardest working sides in the Premier League. Matt, it was not on a legal stream, I can confirm that. Conte has forged a strong bond with his Tottenham players, and the big stars have all given themselves over entirely to his philosophy. So crucial. Son Heung-min has enjoyed his best season in a Spurs shirt and fired his way to the Golden Boot with Mohamed Salah. Harry Kane is fitter than he's ever been at the club. I think we all noticed that in the celebrations from his penalty against Burnley, and has managed to avoid injuries this season. The first season that he hasn't had an ankle injury in quite a while. While Hugo Lloris was desperate to play against Burnley despite having suffered from a fever and sickness. That it's the stuff of, I don't want to say champions because we're far away from being champions, but it's that mentality that, like I mentioned at the top of the stream, Watson, Kulusevski, Romero and Lloris were saying that we want to do better, we can do better next season. That mentality is what has been lacking from this Spurs team for so long, and that mentality that we've seen in this team for so many years is the reason why I, along with I'm sure a number of Spurs fans, were quite nervous this morning and kind of fearful heading into that game. But yeah, look, those nerves were settled very quickly with a very, very good start and an early goal that I think killed the game there and then. Norwich were hoping to maybe nick one and stay secure at the back, which they really were very, very far from doing. But I love Conte so much. Conte has forged a strong bond with his Tottenham. I read that in there. The players, whether they're starting or not, a very key point for Davinson Sanchez in particular, have all put their bodies on the line for Conte, and many have reached new heights, including Ben Davies, Eric Dyer, and younger players like Oliver Skip and Ryan Sessegnon are beginning to realise their potential. And Ian Cook with the member chat, thank you so much for that. 3 months as a member, I really appreciate that. Ian says Champions League, yes, love the content, Matt. I love the support, Ian. Thank you very much. And look, we're back in the Champions League. That's crazy. It was more than a dream. It was more than just an outlandish ambition when Conte took over on the 2nd of November. It's such an incredible achievement. But on Ben Davies there, we heard from The Athletic a couple of months ago that Tottenham are prioritising the signing of a left centre-back, and they listed our main 4 targets in Alessandro Bastoni, who looks like he could be staying at Inter Milan, Josko Vardiol, who's still new to RB Leipzig and could give it another go there, of course won the Deutsche Pokal yesterday. Sven Botman, who looks likely to go to, I think it's AC Milan, and then Nico Schlotterbeck, who has already joined Borussia Dortmund. So the targets that we've identified there may not be realistic ones at the moment, but there it was prioritising a left centre back to play in that first team. But when Alistair Gold was talking about Bastoni a couple of days ago, he said to offer competition to Ben Davies, and that's the biggest praise that you can give Ben Davies. Bastoni is arguably the best player, the best style of player in a left centre back in European football at the moment, in exactly the style that Conte needs. Of course, Van Dijk, all those players are better centre backs, but Bastoni in that role that Ben Davies plays is arguably one of the best. And the fact that we're talking about him being there to only give competition to Ben Davies is absolutely massive. Eric Dyer, who Conte said when he first came in could be one of the one of the best centre backs in the world. Let's be honest, we all laughed at him, even though Eric Dyer had a very good beginning to the season. But Dyer has turned into an absolute general, and a crucial, crucial cog in what has become a very, very solid and stubborn defence for Spurs, which I reiterate, if we can bring in Bastoni, I think will immediately be better than that Belgian wall that we were so lucky to witness for a number of years with Toby Alderweireld and Jan Vertonghen. My article has crashed here, so I'm just going to refresh that. Newcomers Christian Romero, Rodrigo Bentancur and Dejan Kulusevski have all flourished under the tutelage of Conte, and the proof is there for all to see just how crucial the Italians' first transfer window in January was. And I think aside from qualifying for the Champions League, aside from the togetherness that is there on and off the pitch at Tottenham, it's the success of Conte's first two signings that I think it will convince Tottenham more than anything to back him in the window. Because if it wasn't for Bentancur and Kulusevski, we'd be sitting here thinking, is the Europa League enough to convince players to come and join us? We don't have to do that because of the effect and impact that those players had. And Christian Romero, Paratici and Conte deserve equal credit for the signings that they've made. And look, yes, there have been some poor signings there. Pierluigi Gallini has played 11 games, really hasn't set the world alight. He's, as we can see, has been a very, very good impact off the pitch. On the pitch, he hasn't quite done it. Brian Hill has already been loaned out. Pape Matar Sarr struggled to get game time at Metz this season. Emerson Royal, of course, is still splitting opinion. But the signings of Romero, Bentancur and Kulusevski and the impact that they've had, for me, absolutely outweigh the failings, or I wouldn't even call them failings yet, but the seemingly less successful signings or more debatable signings that Paratici has made. If we sign 6-7 players, but 3-4 of them have the effect of these, I'm absolutely fine with that. I'm more than happy to see the Pierluigi Gallinis go back home after their 1 year loan. Incredible signings, and again, it's convinced Daniel Levy to back, because in that first big transfer window he had under Mauricio Pochettino, when we bought in Ndombele, Sessegnon, Clark and Lo Celso, 3 of those players have been a failure, and one is only now 3 years later starting to show his real potential. It's difficult for Daniel Levy to finally bite that bullet and invest money into the squad and see it thrown back in his face like that. We're looking at massive losses on Ndombele and Lo Celso this summer. So Daniel Levy, whether it's right or wrong, needs something to convince him to buy those players. We have a super chat there from THFC Caveman with the $20. Thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. Says, cheers for all your hard work, Matty. Bright days are coming and glory awaits us all. It's my absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure to bring these streams to you guys, and bright days are indeed coming. I just lift up that flag once more. The Godfather is bringing Spurs to heights that we really didn't think were possible anytime soon. But thank you very much for that super chat. I really do appreciate it. And he goes on to say the proof is there for all to see just how crucial the Italians' first window in January was. Both Bentancur and Kulusevski have made a huge impact in the final, and in the final game, the Uruguayan laid on 2 assists and the Swede scored twice, taking his tally to 5 goals and 8 assists, which is 13 goal involvements in the 18 Premier League matches. So I thought it was an Irish flag. No, it's Italian. It's Italian. We got Conte on it. Kulusevski with 8 assists in his first 15 Premier League games, which is the best return of any player ever in his first 15 games in the Premier League. These Juve rejects, the rejects that we got in on cheap for Bentancur, loan with an option to buy for Kulusevski, the ones that opposition fans were laughing at, are the reason that we're going to be fighting it out amongst the best and the elite in European football next season. We've been put in pot 2 as well, which is good news, because there are going to be 2 teams that have had a worse season than us in our group next season, no matter what way it goes. Across North London, it has not gone unnoticed that Tottenham's January transfer business tipped the top 4 scales in their favour, while Arsenal sat on their hands that month despite letting Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang go. They didn't bring in a striker, and look, I think if they brought in a striker, this could be a very different situation. Of course, if that striker had gone on to be a good player for them, but I loved January. Behind the scenes, Conte has been making his views very clear to the club about what needs to be done, delivering frank words to Chairman Daniel Levy and Managing Director Fabio Paratici about the changes that need to be made to create a team that can compete with the elite. And Alistair Gold himself said last week that Antonio Conte is believed to have been speaking in a more frank manner than any man has ever dared speak to Daniel Levy. Conte is heading back to Italy on Monday to spend some time decompressing from the season's end with his wife Elisabetta and daughter Vittoria. The Italian wants his emotions to settle following a remarkable end to the campaign before the future is discussed, and that, look, he absolutely deserves it. He really does. Look, we could be finalising a deal for Fraser Forster next week. We could immediately have our first signing, but my God, Conte deserves a rest. Darkson G says, I'm happy that top teams Champions League will come to our stadium. Absolutely. This stadium is made for Champions League nights. It is made for Champions League nights. Nobody can debate that. And the reason that is coming back is this man. And Last summer, I with the managerial merry-go-round, for a while it seemed as though we had a choice of Pochettino and Conte, and I said from day one that Conte with Paratici was better than just Pochettino, but I still wanted to see Pochettino back at Spurs, and still sometime in the future I want to see him back at Spurs, but for the first time since his departure, I don't have an immediate longing for that to happen. And I know this is a very kind of fracturing thing among the Spurs fan base. I'm over Pochettino for possibly the first time since he left, and it's because of Conte. It really is, and laugh at that all you want, but this man has really changed the mentality and brought back hope and a sense of potential, I suppose, that hasn't been here since Pochettino. But it's more, it's amplified, it's magnified because this man, and we know second season for Conte is where he wins his trophies. He won the Premier League. I think was it his first season he won the Premier League with Chelsea, but with Inter Milan he won the league in his second season. With Juventus, he went invincible first season and won the league second season again, and continued to be successful there. Darkson G says we can have more pull than Man U for once because of Champions League. Absolutely. If we can bring in Romero, the best defender in Italy, when we're in the Conference League with Nuno as our manager, imagine what we can do in the Champions League with Antonio Conte. The way I described it again on the Cheese Room podcast was, or I may have said it here, to be honest, all the streams are bundling into one. I'm ecstatic. We could end up bringing in players this summer that we're not even identifying as targets because they seem a step too far. They seem to be a level beyond what Tottenham can attract. But it's possible because of Conte, because of Paratici, the contacts that he has, the people that he knows in the game. It's going to be a massive summer for Spurs, and the key thing, David, thank you so much for subscribing. The key thing is that we're backing Antonio Conte, and everyone, if you've missed it, if you can't see it written below me, Alistair Gold has said Tottenham are set to back Antonio Conte fully in the transfer market this summer and let him lead the way. And it's the difference between Tottenham progressing from where they are right now and stagnating like we have done in the past. It really is crucial. Alistair Gold continues in his article, the Spurs boss had the noisy Tottenham fans eating from the palm of his hand at Carrow Road throughout the 5-0 win. They sang his name from the opening moments, and when he walked over to the stand in front of them and applauded them in return after the final whistle, they sang their way through another chant they'd come up for him. It's a magical moment in every game when the fans chant Antonio Conte's name when he turns around and applauds him. And to be honest, when I got over to the game against Leicester, is it 3 weeks ago at this stage, there was so much that I wanted to see. I obviously wanted to see Spurs score. I wanted to see the stadium. There's certain players I wanted to see, but I wanted to see that moment of Antonio Conte turning around and applauding the Spurs fans, because it's become synonymous with us winning a game now. It's become synonymous with the Conte cams and with the positivity in this fan base. And every time the fans chanted his name, I was just staring at him, waiting for that moment of applause. And it finally came. I think it was maybe 85 minutes played, and he turned around. It was a South Stand Melee standing up chanting his name. There was a few chants from around the ground as well. But as soon as he turned around behind him to applaud the fans, everyone was up on their feet. Everyone was cheering. Everyone was chanting his name, and it's that togetherness that has been lacking for so long. And I always go back to the stream I did with a friend of the channel, Giuseppe, a Juventus fan, back when we got Conte and Paratici. And he was saying that Conte doesn't fall in love with teams. He falls in love with what he does and the success that he can have there, but he doesn't fall in love with the club. He doesn't fall in love with the team. And it may be stupid to say this, but I feel like Tottenham is different, because I've never seen a team where the love between the fans and the manager is shown all the time. There's never a moment when there's frustration against Conte. There's never a moment where Conte's annoyed at the fans for not chanting. And that's shows maybe a fracture within that relationship. But on the flip side, there's no other team where they worship the manager for 90 minutes in a game. It just doesn't. I can't. That doesn't even happen at Liverpool. Do they sing Klopp's name? Do Man City sing Guardiola's name? I personally have never heard that. There's a relationship between these fans and Antonio Conte that is so special. It's so special, and Conte has to be feeling that. And I don't think that's going to be a decisive factor, or it's not going to be the outright factor that he makes his decision on whether he stays at Spurs or not, which he looks very, very likely to. But it has to play a part. It has to. He can't walk away from the 60,000 people that are chanting his name every week that he clearly has such a special relationship with. And that's such a magical thing, because we were all, up until 4 or 5, 6 weeks ago, again, a lot of us will deny it, but we were all worried about where things were going. We were all worried about whether or not Conte would be leading us out on the 1st of August or 7th of August, whatever it is, when the new season starts. But with Champions League football and this news that Tottenham are set to fully back him, my nerves in that have subsided, and I'm fully ready for a full season under Antonio Conte, second season Conte. If he can do what he did coming in mid-season without a pre-season, the sky's the limit. The sky really, really is the limit, and I can't wait to be a part of it. I can't wait to cover the transfers on this channel. Most of all, I'll be honest, it's going to be very, very exciting. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of content. Gold continues that Conte pointed to a squad alongside him, imploring for the crowd to recognise them, which they did with various players' chants. The supporters and the players know, though, that it is Conte who has dragged the club up by the scruff of its neck back to a seat at the top table. That is why he will return from Italy after this week's family time with all of the power in his post-season meeting with the club's hierarchy, as Levy and Paratici know exactly what a game changer they have for Tottenham in the former Inter Milan boss. They also know that Conte has shown in the past that he will walk away at a moment's notice from the clubs far bigger than Spurs if he does not feel that his way is seen as the right way, and that's also crucial. I mean, if the fear wasn't there, I think it would be a very different situation at the moment. That is why his meeting with the powers that be is set to be a positive one, and again, Football.London understands that Spurs are preparing to back Conte this summer in the transfer market to assemble a squad capable of competing with the Premier League's best. You know, the Premier League is the goal. Simple as that. The Premier League is the goal. Lovely Lion says, you sound like a fan who supports his home team. How did Cork do this year? I'm not from Cork. It's a good guess, but I'm not from Cork. Dean says, the question I want to know the answer to, Matt, are you happy that I'm heartbroken? Yeah. Those inside the club are excited about what the summer is set to bring with Conte's first pre-season and the head coach and Paratici working in tandem to improve Spurs' squad and build on their first January transfer window together. There is also a desire to get new faces through the door in time to take part in Conte's grueling pre-season, as well as an acceptance that the club's policy of only signing young players with resale value will have to be eschewed if the right players, older players, come along. Darkson G again with the super chat. Thank you so much. This top four equals Kane and Conte new contract, I hope. Shan said the exact same in the Cheese Room podcast, and that is the dream. That is the ultimate dream. But on the point there of bringing in players in time to take part in Conte's grueling pre-season, there was a report that we brought on the channel yesterday. I forget who it was from, a reliable source, that said Conte wants 6 players before pre-season starts, which is look at Spurs. That's nothing more than an incredible dream. That's certainly the case. I can't see 6 players being brought in, but if Forster is to be signed next week, it could be a summer where we get our business done early, which is fine by me because we can compact all that content into a month and then have another month to rest. Wolf, you're correct. Paratici's experience of utilising the free agent market will help fill out a squad with ready-made top players while leaving funds for the priority positions. And you know what? We had a super chat yesterday, which I'm going to quickly try and find here to give credit to the brilliant viewer that mentioned it. It was actually Bob's for TV, the legend that is Bob, said, asking, am I oversimplifying it by saying Conte gets who he wants, especially seeing as he's not a big spender? And he isn't the biggest spender. It's easy to look at the squads he's assembled and assume a lot of money was put into it, but realistically he doesn't spend. Obviously doesn't spend the level that Man City spend. He doesn't spend as much United, Liverpool, funnily enough to mention Everton, as much as they spend. And look, if you're looking at the targets we've identified already, you know, Fraser Forster on a free, it was potentially Sam Johnson on a free, John McGinn from Aston Villa, I can't imagine will be the biggest fee in the world. Wilfried Singo, Brennan Johnson, Jed Spence as well from the Championship. They're not the most expensive targets in the world, and Conte doesn't need world-class talent in every position. He needs talent, he needs ability, but most of all he needs people to buy into what he wants to do. And there's no better man to identify those players than Conte himself. And you can argue in a Pochettino team or in an Eric Ten Hag team or whatever other managers are mentioned, that there is a possibility that the board could bring in players that are good enough to work in that team. But with Conte, that's not the case. It really isn't, and that's why he walks away from clubs when they don't fully back him, because no one knows better than Conte the players that he wants, the players that he needs to be successful at a club. And Paratici there as well, utilising that free agent market is even better, to be honest, because he knows a bargain. Spurs' managing director of football, who will appoint his own new number 2 in the coming weeks, hadn't heard that, which is interesting, has been overhauling the scouting department at Spurs along with other areas of the club. That improved scouting network is expected to start bearing fruit. While Tottenham are preparing to spend the money required in the coming window on the important players Conte wants, the key to a successful window is seen as making the right signings after spending big on transfers that haven't worked out in recent years, like I mentioned with with Tanguy and Dembele and with Giovanni Lo Celso. Darkson G says, since Burnley got relegated, I hope we go for Pope. Pope will be a brilliant signing. Brilliant signing. He nearly kept Burnley in the league on his own towards the end of the season, but I think he'll probably have first team football at the Premier League club next season. As much as I'd love it to happen, I really don't think it's an option for Spurs at the moment. But thank you very much again for the super chat. We got Danny Kiriakou in the house, absolute legend. The reason that we're in this software tonight, Danny, says big up brother, big up to you as well, Danny. Come on, we did it. If Conte is fully backed, a new era is about to begin, and every Spurs fan should be excited. Absolutely, it's the beginning of something that we didn't even get close to with Pochettino. That's the level I think that Conte can bring us to, and that's why I'm wearing this. What is an Italian scarf for anyone, or Italian flag? A few people thought it was Irish. 500 people here, just to let you know, it is an Italian flag. But Danny, absolutely, it's a new era, and my God, it's exciting, and it's come at a moment where, with Chelsea and their struggles, with Man United in transition, with Arsenal really at a crossroads right now as to how they approach the future. There could be, as there has been in the past when Tottenham were good, not much competition up at the top. Next season we could be that team in the middle ground between City and Liverpool and the rest of the league. I as much as it hurts me to say it, I don't think we're ever really gonna get close to City and Liverpool while they have Guardiola and Klopp, even if we have Conte, because it's a step too far. They're the best two teams that have ever played Premier League football. I don't think we're going to get there, but we're certainly going to win trophies elsewhere if we have Conte for 1, 2, 3 years, and if we back him. Spurs want to give Conte the platform to deliver what he has constantly proven he can, which is silverware. That's something that has eluded Tottenham for far too long, and for Conte himself, a return to the Champions League gives him the opportunity to improve a record that shows just 3 wins in his past 15 matches in the competition. And Conte typically doesn't prioritise Europe. He doesn't really enjoy playing European football, which has its pros and cons. We'd love to go one further than we did in 2019 in the Champions League. Of course we would, but if we qualify for the Champions League, we have an incredible summer. We get knocked out in the group stage of the round of 16, and then we finish the season with 1 game a week, hopefully still in the FA Cup, hopefully still in the Carabao Cup. It's not the worst thing in the world if we don't prioritise the Champions League. And it hurts me to say that, because it's incredible to be back among the elite in Europe, but if I'm looking at a way where we can prioritise winning silverware, I think the FA Cup and Carabao Cup are obviously more realistic than the Champions League. So maybe we can use the Champions League for a year, and then maybe the season after we can go all at it. But I've no doubt Conte will have a plan, and have a plan much better than anything I could come up with. Conte's words about his future after Sunday's match were once again somewhat ambiguous, but the expectation within Tottenham is that Conte will be in charge next season. Those inside the club believe they've seen the Italian grow fonder and fonder of his surroundings as he's built a connection with those inside and outside the club. Jamie wrote to the 450. Jamie, thanks a million for that. I really do appreciate it. It says Kostic, Bastoni, McGinn, Ericsson, Spence, Carrasco and Pope, and then we are cooking up the Spurs. Great work, Maddie. I appreciate that, Jamie. And look, to be honest, that's an incredible window. That is an incredible window, and the only player there that you can really imagine would attract a very high fee is Bastoni. And Jack Pitbrook has told us that Tottenham are prepared to spend a club record fee, or a fee similar to what we paid for Romero, to bring in a left-sided centre-back. So Bastoni is still possible. That's an incredible window. It strengthens that wing-back where we need to. It adds a bit of creativity, a bit of grit into the middle of the park. And it has a brilliant backup goalkeeper for Hugo Lloris, and one that could potentially be a future Lloris replacement as well, which Forster certainly isn't. Gold continues again. For Conte, this project brings something different to his usual assignments, often parachuted into big clubs already set up to challenge and needing to perform quickly. At Tottenham, he's a big fish in a smaller pond, but one that has the potential to be something much bigger with him as his architect. It will take a lot of work, and Conte admits he has been drained by his experiences at Tottenham this season. He needs help this summer. And there's a few quotes there from Conte, which I'm not going to go into too much, because I'm sure you've heard them everywhere you've been today, and I'm sure you're going to hear them everywhere you will be later on as well. Darkson G with the 5,001 again. Darkson G, you are an incredible supporter of so many YouTube channels, and I do really mean that. Says from -7 goal difference to +29 is massive. Also from Mason 7th to Conte 4th within a year is massive as well. The goal difference was the factor that broke Gunner's top 4 hope. Absolutely it was. Needing a point going into the game today. Mentally, I think Spurs were already in the Champions League. And that showed on the pitch as well. Skill says, why have you got an Italian flag around you? Because it's the Godfather flag. It's the Godfather flag. It's got Conte on it. The saviour of this football club. I got it when I was over at the Leicester game. And I might wear it for every stream this summer. We'll have to see how that goes. Yeah, and the key quote from Conte is that he said this is one of his biggest achievements in football. It's not a trophy. Of course, it's not. You'll have your opposition fans as we celebrated say, "Oh, war trophy for Spurs," all that crap. It doesn't really matter. We've made progress, and that's the thing that is so key for that the small minded fans of West Ham and Arsenal just can't quite grasp is that success is relative. And for a team who on the 7th of November, on the 2nd of November, were ninth again, ninth in the Premier League table, we were on the brink of being knocked out of the Conference League, which ultimately we were on a technicality. Um, where we are now is a massive, massive success. This is a hugely successful season for Spurs on the pitch and off the pitch, and the credit goes to Conte, to Paratici, and dare I say it, the credit goes to Levy as well. But if you're going to sit there and say, "Oh, what a trophy for Spurs," in my eyes, you're accepting the progress and you're accepting the success. And I said it quite a while or quite a few times about the period under Mauricio Pochettino where people are saying, how was it a good period? He didn't win any trophies, or why is Pochettino idolized by Spurs fans when he didn't win a trophy? Well, the team that he took over had Yunus Kabul, Kyle Naughton, Benoit Suakato, Emmanuel Adebayor, all these players that really we couldn't get out of the club soon enough. We were a team that were delighted to be in the Europa League, hadn't finished above Arsenal in whatever 20 years. If after 5 years and a net spend of something like £11 million, if the only criticism you can give to that man is that he didn't win trophies, if the only criticism now that you can give to Antonio Conte and to Spurs is that we didn't win trophies, that's a sign that we did everything else. That's a sign that we made good signings, that we have a good manager, that we are going places, that we're back on a level where we weren't expected to be, that we're ahead of Arsenal. If the only criticism you can give is that we didn't win trophies, that's not going to last much longer, I think, first of all. But also it's a sign of the progress. It's a sign of the success. And it's a sign that, look, Spurs are going places. Skill says, can you see Bastoni and Ericsson coming? Champions League has changed my answer on that. In Europa League, I didn't see Bastoni coming, and we know that Ericsson wants Champions League, so it wasn't. Sorry to hear that you were sick, Danny. I'll reach out to you later. Europa League, it's so difficult to attract those players, especially ones that have publicly said they want Champions League. That's different now. Whatever pull Inter Milan had over Spurs, a lot of that is gone now. With AC Milan winning the league tonight, Inter losing that crown as champions. You question, without Conte, are they able to do that? A brilliant season under Inzaghi. Don't get me wrong; they fought to the last day, but there's a pendulum that is swinging in the favour of the red and black side of Milan at the moment, and you wonder how long will Bastoni really stick that out. You also have to look at what he said about Conte. I've said it so many times, but when Conte went into Inter Milan, Bastoni was just back from a loan of Parma and had never played for the first team. And Conte gave him the chance and is the reason he's become the player he is today. And Bastoni himself has publicly acknowledged that. So I think Bastoni is a possibility this summer, but it's not one that I would say here I expect to happen. It can happen. I don't expect it to happen, but my God, I hope I'm wrong. And on Christian Eriksen, to be honest, I don't know. It's anybody's guess because he's so happy at Brentford, of course. They gave him a great opportunity to get back into football. And it's tough to tell. There are reports as well that with the way things ended the first time, he's kind of reluctant to come back, and that's perfectly fair. I mean, it can't have been a brilliant end to his time at Tottenham, but I'd love to see it happen. Rune says, would you take this season third in the league, FA Cup and/or Carabao Cup, but fourth in the Champions League group? Look, I'll preface this by saying I'd rather finish fourth in the Champions League than third, to be honest. This could sound really, really big-headed and stuff now, but we're a Champions League club. With Tottenham Hotspur are a Champions League club, and I don't want the Europa League. I don't want the Europa League. I don't want the Conference League. If we're not going to finish first or second in our group, I want to finish fourth. I don't want to end up back there. I really don't want to be playing Thursday night football again, because that Thursday, Sunday is absolutely grueling. And I don't want that for Spurs. So I'd rather finish fourth than third. And third in the league and winning silverware, I absolutely would take that. I absolutely would take it. Because again, I don't think we're going to get near Liverpool and City, but if we broke that duck, if we won that first trophy, we've been saying it for so long and we've never been able to really see the truth of it. But when you win that first trophy, the hunger comes. And I think that's an important side of Tottenham's recruitment as well at the moment. Bringing in Bentancur and Kulusevski, who won everything but the Champions League at Juventus, bringing in Romero, who had played at big teams and himself won individual awards. Success breeds success, and that first trophy, I think, will bring us places. Skill says, thanks for your question, or thanks for answering. Can't wait to see your live during the transfer window. I can't wait to bring them to you. Thank you very much. Says you'll have to get Fabrizio on again. Well, I was talking to Fabrizio today. We know how big a fan of Antonio Conte he is, and I was joking that he's a Spurs fan too. But I think Fabrizio will be back on the channel this summer, and I look forward to that very, very much. I look forward to every bit of content that we can bring this summer. Thank you so much for everyone who subscribed tonight. The numbers are absolutely flying up. We're up at we're closing in to 100 away from 13,000. That's going to be the first goal of this summer. So please, if you haven't already, do make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. We've so much more transfer content coming this summer with these graphics, with these headlines, with these player profiles on the other side over that way. Ace Nation, good to see you, my friend. Kelso, man is a busy fellow this evening. I hadn't planned on anything, but then caller messaged me, so I jumped on there, and then I saw the Alistair Gold news, and I was already all set up, so I had to come on and talk about the Italian Godfather and the Don Paratici, who are bringing us places. That's 20k by the summer. Absolute dream that would be. I would love if that did happen. So please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below. I'd really appreciate all the support. Like the stream as well if you haven't already. We have 537 people watching at 11 p.m. on a Sunday night is a little bit outrageous. How many likes are we on? We are on 153. That's pathetic. Do Conte proud. Do Spurs proud. And smash that like button down below. I really would appreciate it. Let's get that number to 200. Jamie says, looking forward to the updates this summer, Matty. Thanks for the hard work this year, lad. Jamie, like I said, I'm looking forward to those as well. And the hard work, I can assure you, has barely even started yet. We got big plans for the summer. And I'm hoping to be here a lot more often than I have been in the last couple of months. But, transfers are my bread and butter. I love it. I stand by it, Matt. Michael Ram, thank you so much for subscribing. Jeff says, phase 1 completed. Let the fun and games begin. And the fun and games will certainly begin. Just to reiterate again that Alistair Gold has said that Tottenham are set to fully back Antonio Conte this summer and let him lead the way in what is a huge transfer window for Spurs. Again, you're going to get all your news right here at Matt A's Tottenham Blog. So please do subscribe. Please do like. But for now, as always, thank you so much for watching.